What I'm going to talk about before we start the next recipe is called mise en place, things in place. For this recipe of fudge walnut clusters, I have the chocolate chips and the margarine or butter, and I'm gonna have condensed milk, sweetened condensed milk. Then I'm gonna have the flour, and last I'm gonna add the walnuts. This recipe is very easy. It cooks for 7 minutes, no more, no less. And what you do is you start off melting the chocolate and the butter. And then once that's melted and all incorporated, then you can bring that back to your table because the rest of the ingredients don't need any heat. Okay, right now I'm adding the first part of the recipe for fudge walnut clusters. And it is 2 cups of chocolate chip, semi-sweet, and 2 ounces of butter. Actually 1 ounce of butter, or 3 tablespoons. Okay, all you're going to do is just stir this until it's all incorporated and you don't see any whole chocolate chips anymore. And that's what you want. This is the hardest part of the recipe right here. That's why a lot of people don't do it. They get their husbands to do it. Okay, I'm stirring this up. I don't want to see any chocolate chips. The next part of the recipe is going to be condensed milk, sweetened condensed milk, which I could eat a whole can full by itself, and flour. I'm going to put the condensed milk in. Okay, you can see this is all one mass. Okay, so now I'm going to take it off the fire. Okay, so I've stirred all this chocolate on the fire top, and the first ingredient I'm going to add is 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. The reason I add the milk first is because it loosens it up and makes it easier to incorporate the flour next. So I'm going to scrape that out really good. Remember, sweetened condensed milk, not evaporated milk. Okay, I'm going to stir this, keep stirring until I really don't want to see any liquid. I want this to be incorporated. Okay. This is a workout in itself, I tell you. Our next is going to be 1 cup of flour. And incorporate this until you don't really see any flour. Alright, so I've done my flour and my milk, and now I'm going to add the last ingredient, which is walnuts. When you get the walnuts, try to get halves and pieces because you really want them and the chocolate to impair flavor into each other. Okay, and here we go. And then what's going to happen once you finish this section, you're going to put it on the sheet pans. I'm going to do these. You can dish it out with it, whatever you want. Just remember that whatever size you scoop this out at, that's the only size it's going to be. It doesn't expand and it doesn't grow up. Okay. What I like to do is I like to take this mix and do it by hand. Okay. And don't try to shape it, form it, or anything. They call it homemade for a reason. Okay. And like I said, you can make these big or small. And even with this recipe cut down the way it is, I'm still going to get about 35 pieces. Okay. And what you can remember is Mother's Day or Valentine's Day or Christmas, what you can do is put these on in little tin cans and decorate them. Put them in little cupcake cups, candy cupcake cups, and get your tins from MJ or something like that, and make them. And the best present ever given is homemade. Okay, so I'm continuing with the last piece, which there was 15 on that piece. Like I said, you can make them small, big, whatever you want. Just for this particular session, I'm making them all the same size. That way they cook evenly and they cook at the same time. Remember, on this recipe, it's 7 minutes exactly, no more, no less, and you'll know if you've done more or less. Less is going to be it's still shiny, more it's going to be all dried out. All right, remember what I said about if you want to stop the cooking process, take your parchment paper and lay it on something cool, marble, another sheet, a counter, a kitchen counter, and that'll stop your cooking process. And then you can start your trays. Okay, so now that you had your walnut clusters and they've cooled off and you getting ready to store them, what you want to do is if you have a Tupperware container with the lid, put some of these in, space them out, and fold some parchment paper on the top. Take the rest, put them on there, and seal your container and try to hide them from the family. Thank you very much.